Hello and welcome everyone to the Analytics and Instrumentation Sync on the 17th of July 2023. It's the time of the month again that we're going to present the next milestone for Analytics Instrumentation. So Danuja, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure, Basi. Let me just share my screen. Yeah, I wanted to go over two things today. One is the OKRs for FY24 Q2 before we do the 16.3 milestone planning. So we are at the end of 24 Q2, and one of the objectives at the org level that we have for 24 Q2 is to continue to win against GitHub. And that
Danuja, your screen isn't showing yet, at least not for me. Piotr, is it showing for you?
Oh, sorry. Let me see. I think. Let me try again.
Let's see.
It says you started screen sharing, but it never shows anything.
It's black screen.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not working because it says screen share is paused and I'm not able to resume it. I'm clicking on resume share, but for some reason it's not working. Can I send you the link, Pasi, and do you want to try sharing?
Sure.
That's the one for the OKR, and the second one's for 16.3 planning.
Just a second. Can you see it?
Yeah, yes, I can see it. Yeah.
And it's also readable, I assume.
Okay, sounds good. So this is the objective we have at the company level, which is to continue to win against GitHub, and that translates to our analytics stage objective, which is to enable GitLab and our customers make data-driven decisions. And if you go down to the individual objectives, the bottom two are focused on the analytics instrumentation group, and if you expand them, you'll see the KRs there. We had 4 KRs for the quarter. On the top part, you have convert at least 5 events to the internal event tracking API and deprecation of Redis, HLL, and Snowflow tracking. At the bottom, you have 5 language SDKs for our product analytics stack, as well as get feedback from 5+ customers on the instrumentation SDKs. So we are on track with 2 of these 4 SDKs, which is, and on the deprecation, we are about 65% on track. On the feedback from 5+ customers, we have a customer that is signed up for the experimentation. We are waiting to onboard that customer once the product analytics stack is ready. So again, there we are at risk. But I also wanted to point out that, we did really great in terms of how much we achieved with respect to our OKRs, considering that we had capacity constraints that came with the AI initiative. And also we had other business critical issues that came up in between the quarter, for example, the registration features and so on. So I just wanted to extend my kudos to the team. I think we did really great in terms of how much we achieved for the quarter with respect to the OKRs. That's what I wanted to point out at the OKRs, and moving on to 16.3 planning. So these, so if you scroll down, I know that because of the capacity constraints that we had in 16.2, we have a lot of carryover work from 16.2 that is being taken over at 16.3, and what I've done is I've prioritized the features in terms of what's top priority at the top, and then the least prioritized ones at the bottom. On the top, you'll see that it is make Snowflow and Kafka production ready. And this is around handling red data for our customers in the product analytics stack. Next is the file language SDKs. I know we've done a lot of work in 16.2 and our previous milestones with getting these language SDKs ready, and we're almost there in completing this KR. So any pending work that we have will be a second priority for this milestone. The third is adding one additional event to the new internal event tracking API. I'm not sure if this adds more than one, but the point is that with this issue, we should be at 100% of our target with the KR, and also adding as many internal events as possible gives us confidence in going ahead and deprecating the older Redis HLN and Snowflow tracking. So the fourth on the priority is all the issues around the deprecation of the existing system. And finally, we have dog fooding product analytics SDKs. And this is important because this will help us kind of stress test the product analytics stack. And this will really help in getting that first customer onboarded. And then scrolling down, so this is a new feature work. So you'll see that for the file language SDKs, we have two more issues. That is document do not track and global privacy control and automatize Ruby SDK, Ruby gems. So these two issues are good to have. This will not stop us from marking our OKR as OKR there as 100% complete. So which is why you'll see this at the bottom of the stack. And the next is documentation of the Redis of our deprecation. Of course, it's that'll come at the bottom once we have the deprecation ready. This is convert G compliance dashboard event is adding more internal events to our new system, which will again give us more confidence when we encourage all our internal teams to move towards the internal event tracking system. Fourth on the list is indicating whether a user is a GitLab team member for backend Snowflow events. We did some work on this with front-end events in the previous two milestones. So this is just a continuation of that effort and doing the same for backend. And finally, integrating product analytics with internal events for front-end. From what I understand, the first issues around dog fooding for GitLab.com is mainly for page views. So with this, we will also be covering other events so that we don't have to create like additional methods to kind of show the same events both in product analytics and Sisense. Yeah, I think that's all I had. And Basi, probably you can add in more information in case you feel I missed something.
No, I think that already gave a really good overview of what we're trying to accomplish. I would just kind of re-stress what you already said, that if we kind of continue as planned and finish up the issues that we're already working on, then our goal of having the 5 SDKs is still achievable within the month, which is kind of the end of the quarter. And the same goes for the conversion of events. Just I would re-stress that the deprecation of Redis HL, and Snowplow metrics, we had a discussion within the OKR about whether we should kind of cut down the scope even more of what we want to achieve before we start deprecating the old collection methods, so Redis, HL, and Snowplow. But in the end, we decided not to and go forward with the current plan, which still involves a few issues like you can see up here, specifically around total count metrics and so on, so deprecating Redis metrics really and so on, just to make it a really understandable package that we cannot deliver to our users, and to have something that is well-rounded enough that people can really use it for most of their use cases, and we don't kind of need to fall back on the deprecated methods too soon, and to also give us more time to kind of document this. That's a big missing part right now. We already have this issue around creating a quick start guide for internal events tracking, but part of what we really need to do before deprecating now Redis, HL, and so on is making the documentation story around the new internal events tracking sound so that people can really use it. That's something I would just re-stress. And something else, just to make sure that this is kind of understood, is what we're planning to do here with integrating product analytics with internal events is kind of hiding product analytics, or just using product analytics within the GitLab internal events stack. So the idea here is really that as a normal Ruby developer or also front-end developer at GitLab, you don't need to know about the details of the product analytics Ruby SDK or browser SDK, as much as you don't need to know about the Snowplow SDK or how Redis HL works. For all intents and purposes, in this setting, the product analytics Ruby SDK is kind of the same as if we would use, I don't know, Mixpanel or Amplitude or some kind of external service, which we also wouldn't expose directly to developers, but kind of hide behind a wrapper so that we can control where data flows, and also in the event that we need to change something, easily change something. Because I mean, the GitLab internal events API, that's one that we need to keep somewhat stable, because people will start using it soon and will kind of instrument events with it. The product analytics Ruby SDK and so on will probably still kind of move a bit, because we haven't even gone out to customers with it. So hiding this behind our own implementation and automatically sending to all different endpoints as much as it's appropriate for a specific event, makes it a lot easier, and we don't introduce a lot of churn and don't introduce things that people will use maybe 1 month and then use differently or not use the next month, but rather have that happen automatically. And as soon as we start doing this, this will also then send really lots of events to the product analytics Ruby SDK or to kind of our Snowplow collector for product analytics, because I mean, we have quite a few events happening on our main application. So as Tanuja said, it's a nice stress test. But we can also, for example, then think about when we go into implementing this thing, we probably need to create some feature flags and maybe even kind of percentage-wise slowly roll that out to not overwhelm the actual cluster back here with the millions of events that we have currently. But that's also something that we can then discuss in the implementation details. Going over to the other two parts, so the maintenance and the bugs. For maintenance, it's kind of the same story that we had for features, that we have a lot of carryover, which we want to still do first before we tackle any new things. The only new thing that was added there as a new maintenance work is to add table migration capabilities to the analytics configurator. That's something we currently don't have, which makes any changes that we need to do to our event tables just a lot of effort. So that's something that we definitely want to get to, but still the other things are more important to go through with. And then on the bug side of things, we have one important bug, which is a pipeline failure on the version app, which currently prevents new merges there. And that's not 100% in our hand. So this is something that we're coordinating with infrastructure, the work on that. But it's important for us to keep tabs on it and for someone from us to be responsible for it and poke infrastructure about kind of any progress we're making there. Apart from that, we have two less pressing bugs. One is something we've talked about before, which is there's some mismatch of which serving ping metrics get reported when the geo setting is enabled, which definitely we should look a bit more into. It's not 100% clear yet what the actual impact is. We know that it's not that widespread, definitely, but this is a lot of investigation to figure out, and document what exactly is happening there. And the other part is we had, when Nico and Mihao also set up the analytics stack within their own clusters, specifically for Mihao, there was some problem where some of the requests didn't run correctly, and instead of then follow-up requests failing as they should have, they didn't. So it was kind of hard to debug what's actually happening. His stack wasn't 100% working without a real error message, and that issue is about looking into this and figuring out where there should be an error reported in this case, and actually reporting the error instead of failing silently and then nobody understanding why the actual stack is not working. All right, I think that's it. Petro, do you have any questions towards the 16.3 plan? Anything that doesn't look good or requires further explanation?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a solid overview. Thanks.
Awesome. Thanks a lot then. I think until next time, we're also going to have then the new OKRs for next quarter. So also expect maybe being pinged on OKR discussions and finalizing those towards the end of this quarter, so within the next 2 weeks. Yeah, is there anything left from your side on this, Tanuja?
No, that's all I had, Basti. Yeah, I with the OKRs, hopefully we'll have that finalized soon. So once that is finalized, we can, have a discussion with the team and get everyone's opinion on.
Cool, then I'm gonna stop sharing. I just have one more thing in the agenda. This is just a reminder. I think everyone who this concerns should have already been tagged. So there were apparently a few cases of impromptu required stops for self-managed upgrades, which means that when introducing new features and introducing new things, a required stop is if someone who updates their self-managed instance needs to install a specific version first before they can install the next version. So if someone goes from 15.1 to 15.9 or something, ideally they could just do that directly. But if there's a required stop in between, that would mean, for example, for 15.6, because there's something introduced, some kind of thing that needs to happen before we can go on to 15.9 or 15.10, then they would need to install 15.6 first and then go to 15.10, which, as I guess everyone can imagine, is a pain for customers and creates problems for those. Especially because also we have quite a vested interest in them, in customers updating regularly and moving forward a lot. Introducing things like that, it's not helpful. And so to make sure that this happens less, there's the desire, or that there was actually, I think, also an OKR, to just educate everyone about it again, because that's kind of a low-hanging fruit. So this is just about actually reading through a few documentation pieces around what are the required stops, how do you normally add them, how do you avoid downtime in migrations, and those kinds of things. So everyone that's tagged there, which is every engineer on the team, I'd urge you to read that through and then check off the check mark for this, for your name within the issue. As soon as you did that, it's due until the end of the month, but the earlier we can do it, the better. And then we're just getting rid of it, because I mean, that's this is one of those things that can be easy to forget the reading through documentation and so on. All right, and I think that's it then. Or is there any spontaneous agenda item that we need? No. Okay. Then have a nice day, everyone. And
Thank you.
See you
Have a good
around.
day. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye.